Hey, how's it going? I'm 23 years old, and it's not new to me that there's cultural pressure from society on young people. It always feels like we're falling behind compared to others, even though other young people also face this pressure. Thoughts like, I'm already 23 and still don't own a house, a car, or earn over $10,000 a month. How do I not have all this yet? It always seems like we're behind everyone else, and social media makes it worse. It looks like everyone has a perfect life, financially stable, even though I'm not naive enough to not realize that the purpose of stories, reels, and photos is exactly this. Deep down, even if just a bit, it causes this feeling of being late. Previous generations, boomers for example, look at today's youth with indignation. They wonder how a 20-year-old or older doesn't have everything they had at that age. Yes, we know it's impossible to replicate, whether because of rising prices or the changing value of labor today. A job that didn't necessarily require a high level of education was enough to get a house, maybe a better car. If you had a college degree, it was enough to have an even better house, travel, cars, and comfortably support your family. But that was the reality of that time. Let's say things have changed a bit, haha. And this situation just makes things worse. You're already comparing yourself to people your own age, and there's added pressure from people of different generations. But I wanted to talk about something curious about comparison. First, comparison is never with someone worse off than you. Second, you start to compare, and at some point, you start to relativize everything. They have a car, but I have traveled to another country, Diminishing the other due to comparison. And then, this comparison starts to turn into something else. Do you know what it is? Yes, that's right. Comparison. The mother of envy. It's a very thin line between comparison and envy, often with thoughts like, why has he achieved all this at this age and I haven't? As if the comparison itself wasn't bad enough, let alone envy. It's like a phrase I heard from some author, I don't remember her name, but the phrase goes, comparison is the thief of joy when misused. And just reflecting on this phrase, you'll understand it, and possibly agree with it. But a thought that has been helping me with this, and maybe it can help you too, is understanding that paths are different and results don't come at the same time for everyone. Understanding that God has a time for each one of us, and especially understanding that we don't all start from the same point. The other person might have bought a car earlier, and you only see the result, but sometimes their dad helped with half the amount or even the total. Thinking a lot about why this situation is in my life, I come to a conclusion about all this frustration. The answer is idealization. Idealization. The idealization that everything would be perfect at 18. That I would finish school and go straight to a good college. Get a good job after graduating. Buy a house with the money from that job. By 30, be very rich. With a house, car, married, kids, earning a good amount per month. Travel 3 times a year. The idealization of a perfect life. But as we know, life isn't perfect. I can plan for what I want to be in 15 years. But there are no guarantees. It's not a linear path. Something unexpected will always happen. And even if the neighbor's grass seems greener, they are different grasses. I think this was the main point to improve on this feeling. Sometimes your perfect goals weren't achieved, and many won't be. But the journey so far should be observed, what has been achieved up to this point. Look with pride at everything you've accomplished. A message from the book helps in any area of our lives. Galatians 6 verse 4. But let each one examine his own work, and then he will have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. Galatians 6 verse 5. For each one shall bear his own load.